What's up, YouTube Nation? I wanted to give you a little insight on my revelation in leaders. If you fished with me before, which if you're on YouTube you probably haven't, I've totally chunked wire leaders out the window. I don't really use them anymore, and I pretty much just use mono leaders with circle hooks. And the circle hook is like the most ingenious design in the history of the planet, because it catches them in the corner of the mouth, and once the hook shank is in the corner of the mouth, you don't have to really worry about being cut off as much. Mostly just a 60 or an 80 pound mono leader with a circle hook, and as long as you keep your line, your free line, pretty taut, when you hook up, you are not going to get cut off. Are you going to get cut off sometimes? Absolutely, but you're going to get more hookups by not using the steel leaders. And this is my personal preference, and it's been working. I've caught some really big sharks on nothing but mono leaders. I've caught some really big king mackerel on mono leaders. I've caught some big jack crevalle on mono leaders. You don't always have to have steel, and when you're chasing these big pelagic fish that have big eyes, they see your steel leaders. Here's a different type of leaders that I keep in my kayak at all times. Check it out. I always keep some 60 pound Malin hard wire in my kayak. I always keep some 43 pound Malin wire in my kayak. I always keep some 108 pound wire in my kayak. And for mono, just the big game Berkeley trilene 80 pound, big game Berkeley trilene 60 pound, and I usually keep some 30 pound somewhere just for redfish or whatever. You know, all these are clear mono, and this is what I use for the tarpon. And I'll even tip it with a little 80 pound, just make it a little extra tougher, and about 6 feet. If I put wire on my leaders, it's only going to be like 6 inches of wire, maybe a foot, no more than 6 inches to a foot of wire on my leaders. And I know all you guys out there that do a lot of fishing, you're all going to be like, this dude's an idiot, he doesn't use wire at all. Well, I kind of went back and forth with it all year. And the more I started, just when I was trolling for sailfish or for tarpon, I was having more hookups on kings than I was with steel. So I just started using mono all the way. And for like the last month, I've just been tarpon fishing with 60 pound mono leader, 7/0 circle hook, and some big baits, and letting them just run around out there, and hooked up with more fish and never got cut off. I'd hook these big sharks and be like, it's got to be a tarpon because it's not cutting me off. But then I get to where I can see it and it hasn't jumped, and it's a big ass shark, and it's all on mono leaders and 7/0 circle hooks. So as long as you get that circle hook in the side of the mouth, you ain't got to worry about a leader. Are you going to get cut off? Yep. Don't buy expensive hooks, but you're going to hook up with more fish. Alright, so here's the leader I'm rocking. I got 7/0 circle hook. You could go smaller, 6, 8, you can go 9. Depends on what you're fishing for, but usually I'm rocking a 7/0 circle hook, 80 pound mono leader, all the way up to my transition point with a uni to uni right here, and then it goes to 60 pound mono all the way to my main line. And I usually have about 6 feet of leader line all the way down. And that usually matches about anything I'm trying to fish. Tarpon, 6 feet, 5 feet, 8 feet, whatever you feel comfortable with. Do the same thing with my big pitching jigs for tarpon, or big swim baits for big bull reds. I've got 60 pound mono, about 5 feet of it all the way up on my pin 850 here. This is for throwing for tarpon, or if you see a big cobia swimming by, throwing it out there. This is my usual tarpon rig, and most of the time I just free spool it or put it with a cork or a bobber. Basically a bobber or a balloon or whatever you want to keep it up in the water column. I just go and get these cheap dollar ones from Walmart, or you can go to the party store and grab you some balloons, a little assortment of $1, $2 balloon bag, or $1, $2 balloons, 12 each. Let them float out there, or these, and keep it up in the water column. So this is what I've been using for like the last for like the last month and a half through king season, through tarpon, is just straight 80 or 60 pound mono leaders with a circle hook. Hook your baits in the back and let them run around out there and do their job. So if you're thinking about adopting this and you still feel a little shaky about not having a steel leader, just put a little bit. I mean, put like 6 inches on there. Just put 6 inches of steel or a foot of steel on here if you absolutely have to have some steel. But I would just put 80 pound mono, because it's clear and the fish aren't going to see it as well, up to some 60 pound mono and let it ride. I mean, you're going to hook up with more fish, you're going to have more big bites, and you're still going to catch some big fish with mono. The thick mono keeps the tail whip from cutting your line, and it works pretty good. So if you got any questions about this, and I need to go in depth further on this, just comments below or email me and I'll make another video. Be sure to check out the Facebook page, Yak Motley. Follow me on Instagram, Yak Motley, and Twitter on Jack Motley Live, and I'll see you next time.